Hello, everyone. This is going to be another quick video. This time around, I'm going to show you how to properly prepare your calendar for an upcoming virtual design sprint. I'm doing this in support of all the participants that are coming into GVDS number 5. And we've had some people struggle with this in the past. So what I'm going to try to do is kind of showcase how I normally reserve time on my own calendar. And hopefully this will help other people kind of set the stage for what they're going to prepare for in the month of October. So let's get started with this. I'm going to start my screen over here, and what you're going to be seeing is Google Calendar, which is something that I just use by default. Yours may be Outlook or others, but the mechanism should be the same, or at least the what I'm going to show you could be replicated in other platforms. So one of the first things I do with this is that I usually make a separate calendar for meetings and events that relate to this particular event. I've already have one here, but for the sake of going through the process, I'm going to go ahead and click on the plus and create a new calendar. And we're going to call this lesson 07, just because this is lesson 7, I think, in the scheme of things, not $7, number 07 or 7. And call it lesson calendar, or just calendar of choice for all manner of GVDS-5 goodness. Make sure it's in your time zone, and in Google you create the calendar. And what it'll do is, after you do that, you'll go back to where you were before, and the calendar should pop up as something that you're currently using. So in this one, we just had it directed. So one of the things that you'll need to do is, we'll go to October 1st. Now, the one week that we're going to be the busiest is the 19th through the 23rd. That's where you want to start. So I'm going to select 19th through 23rd here. Now, depending on if you have a team already, and if you're wondering what that is, let me go ahead and go to my mural, and I'll bring up the team canvas so far that kind of goes into all of the current teams that are assembled right now. And this is a draft, so it's not final. But we are adding people as they're kind of coming in, and then we just figure out where they go in the scheme of things. We're trying to keep things to 6 people per team. We'll see how that goes. But let's say who am I going to pick here? Who shall I be in this point? Let's say I am Florian. Hello, I am Florian. I'll zoom in on him. Him and I looking almost the same. Look at this. No, maybe not quite. He just kind of like that. But let's say if I'm Florian, I want to kind of configure my calendar for what's to come. I'm going to take a look over here, and the online together time looks like where we've kind of vetted out as a team is 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. If Florian was living in Dallas here, Monday through Thursday, that's kind of where we're corresponding. So I'm going to go back to my calendar that I just created over here, and I'm going to go to 9 to 11, and I'm going to first click here to kind of start this up. Now this goes into the calendar of choice, which is great, but I'm going to need more options here. So let's see, I'm going to go 9 to 11, and I'm going to usually call this GVDS-5 reserve time. So this is going to be something that you definitely want to, in advance, put on your calendar that you are going to have no one else kind of block this out, or basically, take from you when you need it. And since this is going to be something that's going to go from Monday through Thursday, I'm going to go ahead and click on this little caret about repeat. I'm going to go custom. So I'm going to say repeat every, let's do just repeat like this. Repeat every 1 week. Let's see if I can actually make it. Nope, maybe just 1 week will be fine. And I'm going to say it ends on, I don't want to go all the way to January 18th in sprint. Who does that? That would be crazy town. On the 23rd. So now I have it Monday through Thursday. On the 23rd, same time, hit done. Sometimes I like a different color than blue. Let's go yellow. Actually, let's go tan. Let's go flamingo. And reserved time for GVDS-5. There you go. So that's there, and we're just going to leave everything the way it is. We're not going to add a Zoom meeting or anything else, but this is just a way of kind of putting on the calendar when we're going to get together and sprint during the busiest week of GVDS-5. So hit save, and voila, you've got 4 times right there, 9 to 11, all set. So this is just the first step, okay? Now, the next step is to think about optional time, which is buffer time that happens before and after the sprint time here. Now, optional time is time that can be allocated to things that come up like business or family matters, or are they anything else you want. But it's a good way of deterring some people that may have an open access to your calendar from reserving something in there if they know it's kind of half reserved. So it visually communicates that this time probably isn't a good time to have a meeting, but you can if you absolutely need to. And the way I do it is same thing with this. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to just call this GVDS buffer time, or what's it called? Buffer, morning buffer. Buffer. Instead of buffet, it's buffer. And go to more options again. This time I'm going to give it a slightly different color. Let's make this banana. And the buffer time is probably going to actually, no, let's do banana. So the buffer time will have the same color throughout. And this is all deep. This is all, this is all blank. You don't have to put anything in there. On the on the whether or not you're busy or free this time, you definitely want to put free. Default visibility usually is where you want to go with things. If you are a private person, you can make it private, but then no one else on your team can actually see what's going on. So usually whatever the default visibility is of the calendar is good enough. And you go here to the same thing you did before. You're going to put it Monday through Thursday, and it ends on, no, not January. It's this propensity for doing things all the way in on the 22nd. We're done. We'll see how that looks. And we got a good morning buffer right then and there. We're going to do the exact same thing for down here. We're going to put GVDS-5 an evening buffer or after session buffer. Now, you may wonder, okay, is this really reserving 4 hours of time, or actually 3 hours of time, when normally we were been advertising that it's just 2 hours online? Well, this isn't online time. This is just buffer time for you to basically get prepared, get your house in order, maybe have some breakfast, work out, whatever you want to do before, or check emails or messages before you actually get into your virtual design sprint time. But having that buffer there definitely helps when it comes to kind of blocking out anything that may occur there that isn't something you absolutely need to do. So go through the motions again, make this a yellow, make this free, which is very important. And I think that's about, we got to do that repeat. So let's do the custom. Let's do do and that. And we're still not going to January. Nope, you're not selling me on it. I'm not doing it. Go to the 22nd and we are done. Let's hit save. Okay. This is step 2. You got your nice buffer time. Now, there's a reason why Friday is open. And the reason is that historically in the Global Virtual Design Sprint, some teams do meet on Friday and other teams do not. So it will be up to your team well before this time if you're going to have a Friday time. The event only recommends 4 times to get together, and then you can do an optional retrospective or evening thing if you want. And again, you think you're going to have me, I'm going to repeat myself. This is going to be yet another buffer time. So this is going to be GVDS-5 retrospective buffer time. It's buffer time. And go to the options, just make this a hello, make it free, and we are good. So usually put it like right at the beginning of the first hour so we know it. So now we got a good, nice little optional required sandwich of the GVDS. So that's step 1, 2, and 3. Now, there's one other step you need to do, and that is putting in the same kind of time here, both on the week before and the week after. Why would you want to do that? Well, in the 12th through the 16th, typically, or the week before you do your actual virtual design sprint, there's a good chance you're going to need that extra time to prepare, whether it's kind of looking at your interviews, kind of thinking about the work. If you're doing prototyping, then you're going to kind of get ready to start, thinking about your audience and other things that you're going to be doing this week. So it's always good to kind of have that same kind of buffer time, both the week of the 12th and the week of the 26th. So what do you do? Again, just go over the 12th. We're at 9 to 11. And if I'm Florian, I'm going, you know what? I'm going to more options. I'm going to go ahead and put GVDS prep week. And again, I'm going to make it 11. I'm going to put it here. Same thing. It's kind of repeating it. So I'm just going through the motions. You already kind of get the idea. And we're going to end it, not in January, but of course, in the wonderful month of October. And we're going to end it right on, we're going to make it the 15th. Again, because we want to we don't want to extend to Friday. We want to keep that same kind of 4-day schedule, even in prep time. And we'll make this yellow again. And that should be everything when it comes to an individual. Let's go, oh yeah, and we have to do it, this is free. Go ahead and do save here. So this is prep week. Now, if you want to be fancy about it, instead of making a completely new calendar things, you can go up here and go back to this. And let's say this repeat. Let's say I want to change this so that I want to repeat it every 2 weeks. And then I want to end it on the 29th. So let's see if this works. I'm going to hit save. And with all events. Now what should happen, if it's going to play right, is badang. Hey, there's my prep week. But now it's the same name for all 4, but it gets the idea. So now this is reserved as an option for this week, so that if you want to do an iteration sprint, if you want to prepare for the GVDS showcase, you have the option, no pun intended, of putting in some activities as a team to refine your presentation, get everything ready for the week of the 2nd when you would present your work. Or you do an iteration sprint to wrap up any odds or loose ends that you have in the dash or in the virtual design sprint for getting all of this done. So there's that. So now let's review. We have our reserve time, the week of the 19th, the most important week of the event. We have our buffer in the morning and the afternoon that's marked as free. Same with this. I do believe I may have missed marking this free on this one, but nope, it's right there. And then you'll have to do that for the week before and the week after. If you're feeling fancy, you can basically configure the repeat action of the calendar item to excuse me, to basically repeat the week of the 26th. So now all of your time for those 3 weeks is pretty much set. You should have everything kind of put in place. So the calendar is pretty much where it's supposed to be. Now here's a couple of caveats. I'm gonna grab my notes here so I just don't forget anything. If you are the facilitator like Florian may be, one of the things you'll need to do is, instead of relying on other people to do this, what's a good idea is you go into your reserved time, you're going to edit this. And in this part here, you're going to put in all the people that are on your team. So if I go back to the master board here, I go, well, let's see, who's on my team? Oh, it's Christina. Let's go ahead. And you normally, facilitators won't have that bad accent, but they will have access to people's emails and how to get a hold of them. So I would put in Christine's email here and all the other folks that are going to be here. And I want to make sure that they can invite others and they don't see the guest list. And they can see the guest list if it's not a big deal, but normally I don't showcase emails to everyone else, but most of the time it's not a big deal for it. But what you do is you put everyone in there, and it's just reserved time here. And at that point, if you're using Google Meet or make it a Zoom meeting, you can enable those. If you're using some other resource, you can also do that as well. But then once you add everyone's name on the team, if you're a facilitator, and you put in the video conferencing, then this becomes more of a serious kind of it becomes an official meetup for your team during that week. And you might want to put in some options in the description about agendas. So if this is for Monday, you can go like, hi there, here's our agenda for Monday. And you can use the bullets here and go talk, act, discuss, celebrate, cry, not cry. Yeah, cry. Do nothing. Do nothing. Be happy. How about that? There you go. See it? I know you were. So this is just for Monday. So when you save this, yes, yeah. See, it's saved. You just do it for this event because really what you're doing is just setting the agenda for each day. So you can set an agenda for each of these days after you kind of put in a time for them a resource like Zoom or Google Meet or WebEx or anything else when you get together. So these start to become actionable reference items. Also, if you have the ability to do so, and if you have a mural account, you can actually add murals to these. I don't think I have mine active, but it'll give you the option of adding both, make it a Zoom meeting. If you click on this, it'll add all of the Zoom agenda here or the Zoom connection information there. If you add mural, you can actually connect through a mural like whiteboard that you have for this particular virtual sprint, but it's totally up to you. I think if I go to, see, I'm just going to do this on the fly. Let's do Chrome extensions Mural app. And I think it's right there. Hello, Mural for Google Calendar meetings. So this is what you want to do. And I do have it enabled. Let's go ahead and enable that. There you go. So you can basically search for a mural, figure out which one you want, and then it's right there in the interface. And I wonder if it'll do it on the fly or I have to refresh. Let's see. Is it pop up there? No, I think I have to refresh. Let's give this a shot. Live. Let's see if it works. Changes may not be saved. I'm going to save this. What are you talking about? And we're just doing it for this event. I'm going to refresh. And that did not do it, but well, maybe not. Let's go into this and see. Mural. Hey, look at that. So if I add a mural to the meeting and I can search for a mural in a template in my workspace, I've got all these different ones. So you can basically add a mural to this particular meeting and then people will be able to access it before they actually get into the meet, which is always a good thing if you want to do some pre-work. Okay, so that's getting close to everything that you need to do for calendars. The last thing I would recommend is since these are now turned public if you've added people to them. If your significant other or other people you work with need to know when you're going to be out, sometimes it helps if you add them to these buffer and reserve times as optional people. So let's just say if you go into this one and you add a guest, but I'm going to add Spiderbird. 2017? Well, just my regular one. And over here on the list, you can just basically click on this to mark this person as optional. And since it's busy, it may block out their calendar, which may be a bad idea. So let's skip that. Let's not do that. Instead, what you can do is let's make a different one. Well, hang on, let me take that back. Let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to take this one. Because what I just realized is that if while I was doing this, that if I add somebody to reserve time, it's going to block off their calendar. So we're just going to basically do something different. Let's go ahead and make this go from 8 to noon as we have it here. And go ahead and block that out. Make more options. We're going to make this free. And this is at Robert at the GVDS. And then with this invite, I can basically add people as I like to this particular one that I know of that people need to be aware of. And it's free, but just basically to let them know that this is happening. And like before, you basically go up here, go to custom, and just add in these 4 particular days. It's going to end not in January, even though my birthday's in January. Hint, hint. No, I'm kidding. And make this the 22nd, make this done. And we'll give this kind of a purplish one and put save. Now, what happens is that usually if it's a darker color, it'll work its way into the backdrop. But what this is that since it's free and it's not optional, then it's going to basically take a backseat to the other ones. But this, you can add this to the people that you know, and this will make sure that they know that you're going to be taking time to concentrate on what you're doing here. And you can do the same thing with the week before or the week after. It's totally up to you. But I usually would recommend just communicating with them in a way that if you need this, if you really do need this week for prep week, then since this is optional, you can just add their name directly to it. You don't have to make a separate event. Since it is free, you can just basically go, hey, Spiderbird, I'm going to let you know that I'm going to be busy that week. And we'll do this in all following events so that both, yeah, go ahead, send it to myself. So now my alter ego is going to know that both this week and the next week, I'm going to be free, but I am going to be kind of concerning myself with the GVDS. And that is how to prepare your calendar for the upcoming GVDS schedule. If you have any questions, or if you have any suggestions on how I could improve this process beyond what I've done here, then feel free to post in YouTube or in Facebook or wherever you want. You can also reach me on LinkedIn. You can PM me. I'm open to conversation. Okay. So thanks a lot for watching. Hope this was useful and talk to you all later. Okay. See you on the next video.